Friday. It's early for me, and I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I know that what we're gonna talk about today is gonna be totally worth it. Totally worth it. I'm Jeremy. This is Open Athletes. I am your founder and host. I'm a former MLB draft pick. Done other stuff. Why are we here? Open Athletes is a live show about the intersection of sports, business, politics, pop culture, labor, policy. And today, we're going to talk about a lot of different things. Firstly, a private equity firm is about to buy a slice of the Falcons. Wow, when was the last time we talked about that? Yesterday. When was the last time before that? The day before. The U.S. Open just put a record $108 million on the table, and the players still aren't happy. 17 doctors wrote the NCAA a letter asking them to kill an energy drink patch. Coco Gauff and Taylor Fritz put a ring on it. A sleep tracking ring. ESPN's streaming bet turns 1 year old, and the incoming boss of Major League Soccer has to sell the team he owns. A PE guy. I mean, obviously. Then, in the close, who is actually buying all of the sports right now and what a piece really gets you. Plus, Jennifer George, a former Florida hooper, building the media company and foundation she wishes existed for the next generation of girls. But first, today's quick hits. Everybody wants a piece of the floor. Huddle up. Put a name on the thing we all feel, the financialization of private sports. Why did I say private? It's early. I told you. Rewind that. Huddle up. Put a name on the thing we all feel, the financialization of pro sports. Pretty much every league now takes institutional money. It's all gambling. It's all the stuff. Is outside money making these teams better or just more expensive? More expensive. Everything's more expensive, including the teams. Are the teams better? What are still the best teams in professional sports right now? The ones doing it the way that you need to get it done, or the ones that are private equity backed, stealing money from the city to try to build new stadiums? I'm from Phoenix. I love Phoenix sports. I'm frustrated by Phoenix sports. At least I can say private equity has not vanquished Phoenix sports, because it would be upsetting. Phoenix sports is still just a poor market. The teams aren't doing a good job to make things exciting or relevant or affordable in town. It's still a mid-market. However, we used to have all four sports teams. Rest in peace, Arizona Coyotes. But for everything that's institutional money now, is it good or bad? We're going to talk about that today. Awful Announcing dropped its 2026 MLB local broadcaster rankings, 85,000 fan votes, right as the regional network model keeps falling apart underneath the whole sport. Can we actually pause this for a second and check? What are those rankings? Where is that? Falcons sell 10%. We're going to get to that. Price pool. We're going to get to that. I want to see the rankings. Maybe we're not. I'll let you know in the newsletter if I can find it. No. Nope. All right. Can't find it. I thought I had it linked. I wanted to see what that was going to look like. Women's sports keeps scaling. Good. Sabrina Ionescu and NWSL Commissioner Jessica Berman are both headlining Sportico's Rise Women's Sports event on September 10th. The keynote list is the tell. Name the women's sports businesses you'd start today. Well, I think the NWSL is doing well. At least expansion fees have increased. At least salaries have increased. Women's Champions League in Europe is doing well. It's good business. It's more entertaining. I love Angel City FC. Good brand. They get that stadium. Cool ownership group. Not private equity backed. You know what I'm saying? Good. Good. We're going to talk to Jennifer George today. She used to be a college basketball player with Florida. She got to see all of this stuff up close and is now building a nonprofit in access to girls' sport and girls' basketball. She's going to absolutely have a perspective on this. Netflix, CBS, and Peyton Manning all reportedly want Luke Kuechly in a broadcast booth this fall. He retired from hits and walked straight into his next thing 7 years ago. Yeah, we talked about it the other day. I'm happy for him. All of these guys can find second lives and second careers in the booth. It's just, are they good at it? Who has been very good at it? Chris Collinsworth, former NFL player. Yeah, sure. I've been doing it for a long time. Phil Simms, Tony Romo, Greg Olson's great. Tom Brady's super mid. Who was really bad? Drew Brees? Was it Drew Brees that was bad? Went in the booth and then went back and played again? It's somebody else. It's not like Brian Urlacher or something. Oh, it's Jason Witten. Oh. Yeah, I remember that. Quick hit number 5. AI comes for your form. Oslo's Sport AI raised $1.8 million to scale real-time technique analysis for tennis, padel, and golf. Your coach's eyes are now, everything is a subscription. It's now a subscription. Is it good for the athlete? Yes. High-end technology is good for the athlete. Only if the athlete understands how to apply what they're learning to make it better. And in theory, these products should be doing that. Should be. But maybe not. Maybe they'll sponsor us. Come on the show. Yes. Athletes Fund. A venture-backed fund where athletes get backed by current and former athletes building real companies with capital plus a network that actually gets your world. Check them out. https://athletes.fund. Private equity continues to move into professional sports. Our latest victim. Ding, ding, ding. Your Atlanta Falcons. A private equity firm called Arctos, not ominous, is set to buy up to 10% of the Atlanta Falcons, and the price tag values the team at $10.5 billion. Wow, that's interesting. We learned a couple days ago that the valuations of these teams have increased dramatically in the NFL. Cowboys were up to 15%. Or 15 billion. 15%. 15 billion. Falcons are moving up. Lakers just sold for $12.5 billion. If you're going to spend relatively same, it's not. It's $2 billion different. Of course. What would you rather have? The Los Angeles Lakers at $12.5 billion. The Atlanta Falcons at $10.6 billion. Stage over 18 months, pending an NFL owners vote expected in October. Arthur Blank owns 73% of it. 10% is the max stake the NFL allows a PE firm to hold. Arctos, this is their first. Whoa, really? This is their fourth NFL bet after the Chargers, Bills, and Browns. For scale, the Seahawks are changing hands in a league record $9.6 billion sale, and they just won the Super Bowl. Why care? 2024, the NFL cracked the door on private equity, capped at 10%, no control, silent money, and the smart money sprinted through. Arctos didn't buy the Falcons. They bought a small, non-controlling, capped piece because they think the number is going to go up, because it will, because it always is. It's always going to appreciate, and if it's worth $10 billion now, it's going to be worth $20 billion in 10 years. They're buying the option on where team values go next. A piece is not control. We'll keep bumping into that as many times as we have a show. The structure is the tell. 10% max, 18 months to pay, no vote, no locker room, no say. That tells you how much risk they actually want, which is almost none. Why? Because the numbers aren't going down. Number go up. They want the upside of sport without the headache. Now, some private equity wants to buy more or all, or people from private equity want to buy more or all. the Falcons' price will go up. Always and forever. Find me the last major professional sports team that decreased in value over a 5-year period. I will wait. Maybe there is one. Maybe your Columbus Blue Jackets. But you didn't even know that was a team. How much are they worth? $1 billion? To own a professional sports franchise in one of these leagues are the most exclusive rooms in the entire world. In the 4 major sports, there's 30 to 32 teams each. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head for each league when I sit here and think about this in real time talking to you. But it's like 120. And some owners own multiple. But there's like 120 controlling owners of major league sports teams. Plus now MLS is up there. It's 150. So there's 150 billionaires or 100 millionaires that own sports franchises. It's a very small amount. Who knows? The Phoenix Rising are up for sale soon. I am going to be the first one calling. I could barely buy a Chevy Trax, but I know people who would be interested. The U.S. Open announced a record prize pool, $108 million, up 20% from $90 million. Singles champ walks with $5.5 million, and the players are still threatening to protest. Per Front Office Sports and Sportico, 2026 U.S. Open total purse is a record $108 million, up 20% from $90 million. Singles champions each earn $5.5 million they earn $5.5 million, okay? It's early. Runners up $2.8 million. Semifinalists $1.45 million. Quarterfinalists $780,000. A first round loser takes home $140,000. The raise follows a coordinated media protest by top players at Roland Garros in May. Why complain about a $108 million prize purse? Because the headline is not the real number to players. Tennis players are independent contractors with no salary, no floor. They pay their own coach, their physio, their flights, hotels out of that check, or sponsorships or whatever. Not all of them. A first round loser, 6 figures, gets a lot smaller, and the slams are among the most profitable events in sports. Two numbers again, the headline and the truth. The lesson: the players have leverage and got leverage the only way labor ever does. They organized their voice, coordinated a protest at the French Open, and the number moved 20% up. That's what happens when the talent remembers that the event doesn't exist without them. A record purse is not the same as a fair split. Yes. But the players know the difference. So what can we take away from this? What can we learn? Collective action for players, for athletes of any sport, gets you a seat at the table and conversations to be had about the movement of money in sport. They got together, talked about it, protested. I'm sure other things happened that I am not privy to in what I'm reading from these articles. But then the purse increases 20% just like that. So there's other things going on behind the scenes. But if you're a college athlete, you're like, why is this so unfair? Why are teams not paying us? Why are we being taken advantage of? Because you're not collectively bargaining. You don't have collective action. You're just wishing for something to change and happen. But it needs to start with the players actually having a voice. And it really comes down to, are the best ones willing to have that conversation with you? If they are, people will listen. And if it starts at the bottom, it's not really going to happen unless it's like really coordinated and really well done and really tasteful. But if the best players are like, we need this, or we're not playing, or we're not participating. Like, for example, there's a top 30 college, there's a top 50 best college football players in the country right now. 30 of them will get drafted in the first round. We all know who they are. They're all already going to be drafted if the draft was tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying this will happen, but those guys are already making millions of dollars a year on NIL. They can still do the things on social media. They can still train. They could even go live together and train and get ready for the draft because they're already top prospects in the NFL. And if they said, we're not playing until X, Y, and Z happen, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. But I'm saying that if people really wanted to make change, that's how you make change. Okay, so the top 30 aren't going to do it because they'll miss out on, will people pull out their millions of dollars? Well, if they can't, then no. But if they could, say they're like, we don't want to lose $1 million checks, we're not going to do it. It's not going to even going to be the top 250 prospects, the guys that are going to get drafted. In that pool, right? What do the lowest guys do? They support each other. They try to get community. They try to build community. They go from team to team to team to team to team, and they build an organization, and they have conversations about the things that they would do if they were to get organized, and then they need a minimum requirement total number to then say, we are this body of athletes. You could just have these conversations, and if you tell them, and if you support them and say, we are here for you, you're not getting in trouble by your team. I mean, we don't know that, right? Like, if unionization efforts really, really, really start happening in college sports, are the players who are participating going to get cut from the team? It's possible. It's possible. Simon Rosenbaum Larson was doing more than baseball, building a union, having the conversations out loud in public, and was still playing for the Tampa Bay Rays. It's possible. It's surely possible. Why bring up all of this stuff? Because athletes holding together firm has always proved to be really good for their business. And when it's good for the athlete, it's good for the sport. The conversation in Major League Baseball is like, Major League Baseball should put on a cap because it would improve competitive balance or whatever MLB's arguing for. Is that true? I mean, teams don't. And if there's a salary floor, sure. I mean, you would see more, right? There's not a salary floor right now, so. But Major League Baseball is arguing that, yeah, like the competition would be better if you capped the amount that players can make, but we're not going to cap the amount that the teams could make. Huh. Well, I wonder who that benefits. Oh, so the Los Angeles Lakers have a total cap on the amount that they're able to buy players for. Let's say $300 million a year. I don't know the salary cap off the top of my head. And there's like a little fee if you go over. Little fee if you go over. But then the Lakers just sold for $12.5 billion, and the salary cap is still. Wages are still stagnant as these valuations are going up. Over time, we have seen wages in the NBA and NFL and NBA increase. Of course, we have seen increases in wages go up over time. But over the same amount of time as we have seen wages increase, we have seen valuations skyrocket. Valuations of teams are skyrocketing more than we're seeing the increased wages for players. Is LeBron making $8 million this year? Yes, that's not what I'm talking about. Is Steph Curry for some years made $40 million in a year? Yeah, and he's worth it. Or is like Kyle Tucker making $40 million this year? Yes. But across the board, as we're seeing increases in the average annual value of salaries, we are seeing an absolute skyrocket in the total valuations of the teams. Advertising and the gambling that's moving in, and the TV, the sports, the network deals that are moving in. Players collectively bargaining, having conversations on behalf of each other is good for the league. It's good for the players, and it's good for the fans, and it's good for the sport. And if you disagree and you work in sports, you're going to disagree and you might be a fan. But if you disagree and you work in sports, come on the show and let's talk about it. Okay. 17 doctors ask the NCAA to review and pause youth-facing energy drink sponsorships. Ha! The group isn't asking to ban energy drinks. It wants an independent review citing pediatric cardiovascular studies. 40 Division I programs now run some kind of jersey patch sponsorship. Cardiologist John Higgins notes, Big 12 games can reach 10 to 18 million viewers in a weekend. He's done stuff with professional sports and college sports teams. To be clear, the doctors made a claim and the request, and that's fair to discuss. I'm not here to litigate the health factor of the energy drinks. The business tension is college sports just got a giant new revenue line, and the second the line showed up, the categories got messy. For decades, schools wouldn't touch alcohol, weed, firearms, on the theory that some money costs you more than it pays. Is a caffeine and sugary drink on a college kid's jersey in that category? Reasonable people disagree, but it's just a patch, right? Being just a patch, stop being the whole answer. Every new pile of sports money comes with a fight about where it's allowed to come from. Some money costs a program more than it pays, and college sports is about to learn where that line is. Is it energy drinks? Is it Prime? Prime is not healthy, I don't think. I don't think it's healthy for you. It's a sugary sports drink. Is Body Armor healthy for you? I don't know. I have not looked at the nutrition facts. I cannot say. I do not want to slander or libel. I don't know. Is Gatorade the most healthy thing for you? Is Monster? Go look at the nutrition facts. And a kid's going to know. Kid's going to say, that's healthy for me or that's not healthy for me. Or kids actually don't know anything anymore, but that's not true. Kids are smart. Is it in the fridge at home? Right. Visibility in all things, in some ways, leads to, like, Red Bull having an F1 team. Should we stop having an F1 team be sponsored by an energy drink? Like, who's responsible for, like, drawing that line? Is Red Bull selling more drinks because they own a sports team? Okay, so they own 2 F1 teams, two soccer teams, the German Red Bull and Red Bull New York City football, whatever. They've diversified where their money can come from. And the valuations of these professional sports teams increase drastically over time. So is the amount that they are making increasing? Why divest? They're probably selling more drinks now than they ever have. The point is, whose decision is it to say if a sponsor should sponsor a thing? And once the line is drawn, no gambling, people are going to find their way around it by saying, not gambling, prediction market. Not energy drink, refuel liquid. You can't have the NCAA police anything. And I understand where the doctors are coming from. But rather than trying to get NCAA to change something, why don't we talk to the kids about what is healthy and what's not? That's just me. That's just what I would do if I had a platform like Dr. Higgins here. Energy drinks. Oh, how many different sponsors do we think are bad that sponsor professional sports teams? Well, probably the gambling ones. They're on it anyway. Is gambling going to be in college sports? Too late, honey. It is. So are we going to police where the teams are making their money? Or are we going to talk to the kids about the things that they should and shouldn't do? What's junk food? What's not junk food? This conversation is so boring that it's going to keep happening. This episode is presented by Esther Health. Esther Health helps you fight a broken healthcare system. Your fiercest advocate when healthcare gets hard. One dedicated advocate per member who fights the claims, finds the right specialist, and supports fertility and family building. Find them at estherhealth.co. Back to tennis. I love that we're talking about tennis today. In tennis, Coco Gauff and Fritz. Who is Fritz? Taylor Fritz? Taylor Fritz cash in on Aura ring. I used to wear an Aura ring. I liked it for a little bit, but this is before you could build little things with like the access you get to the data, and theirs is like a little bit more locked from what I could see at the time. And Aura ring, as opposed to Whoop, Aura ring is like normal people get your tracking, track your cycle, all of those different, like, not based on high-end sport performance and recovery. Whoop is like, you're LeBron, and here's all this data, and you're going to look at this data, and it's going to tell you things. And I wear one. And I wear one because I wanted to see if I could connect the system itself to like all of the different tools that are out there, because I wanted to see, could my API from Whoop, could my Whoop data connect to Claude, and could Claude tell me what workouts to do based on like the energy and the sleep and the recovery that I'm having? And I think the findings so far, I'm on my third week doing it, and the findings so far are pretty interesting. If you're an athlete out there and you're like, how do I maximize the how do I maximize like all of these different tools? We'll connect it into something that could teach you and tell you, like, knowing your goals, but teach you and tell you like the things to do next. I think it's like been very interesting to take a step back from I'm reading this data every single day to this system is reading the data for me, and it's telling me what workouts to do based on how it's reading the data. That's very interesting. And there's a business out there if you want to do that. Come on, Open Athletes, and I'll help you start that business. Your athlete as business story of the day. Coco Gauff and Taylor Fritz, two top 10 American tennis players, signed on as brand ambassadors for Aura, the sleep and recovery ring, right before the U.S. Open. Per Aura, Gauff and Fritz join Aura as brand ambassadors in long-term partnerships ahead of the 2026 U.S. Open. Gauff will wear the Aura Ring 5 through the tournament to track sleep recovery and readiness. They join a roster that includes soccer's Harry Kane, Declan Rice. So why does a small ring deal matter more than a giant shoe deal? Because of what she's selling. Gauff isn't selling a logo. She's going to be able to sell proof. She wears the ring, her body is the data, and the pitch is the thing that helps her win a Grand Slam. They're giving her money. She gives them her platform. Is that learning about your recovery and your sleep is going to help you, and that's the athlete as R&D and distribution all at once. This is a small ambassador deal, and she's going to get money to be an ambassador and wear the ring. Does she have equity? I know a lot of athletes that have equity in Aura ring, and Aura is smart by doing that. But what they have done is they've gone more to a general market and said sleep and recovery. And Whoop has taken a left turn and said, track your energy, recovery. You're going to track sleep too. Wear it on your wrist. It's different. You're LeBron. One is recovery and sleep focused. One is energy output and also kind of sleep focused. What's better? There's no better. They're both the same. It's fashion. It's health as fashion. Health is in fashion. being healthy visually, like I have this piece of equipment is like a piece of jewelry. So now jewelry can tell you things and tell you how to do things. I wear this as fashion. Whoop. Not a sponsor. I like it. I've had a good experience so far. Come on the show. Be a sponsor. Aura, be a sponsor. Come on the show. If you know Aura, let them know. You don't have to be a top 10 athlete to like tag on to this. There are brands popping up in the technology space to try to undercut these more expensive things all the time. And a brand in your sport wants a real athlete with a real audience who'll actually use the thing. Endorsement is just the entry tier now. It's not the ceiling. Start with the deal you can get or ask for equity to be part of its growth. Like Rippy did with Rippy, the basketball player from Duke with the pasta company that's in Whole Foods. Know your worth, negotiate toward a piece to participate in the upside that you are providing to them. Gauff is selling her face to Aura. She's getting money, and they're using her. She's also selling proof. And if you like Coco Gauff, you'll go, oh, I like Coco Gauff. And I trust her. So I'm going to get an Aura ring like her because I want to be exactly like her. Or I want to use it how she's using it. Or I saw Rory McIlroy wearing a Whoop, and I really like Rory McIlroy, and I'm going to wear the Whoop. So people are going to get it because they're seeing you use it. Declan Rice. Okay. But how are the athletes benefiting from that? Are they getting a piece of the pie? Maybe. Show me the numbers. This show presented by Mind Ready. That's a performance coaching and sports psychology education that puts world-class mental game in your workplace, classroom, athletic department. If you run any of these things, I can promise you and assure you that the mental health system that you have currently set up is inadequate. I've done this enough for long enough. There is enough for me to go off of to say it's probably not good enough. Mind Ready helps you understand where you're missing and put the pieces in place to support the mental health and well-being of your athletes, your coaches, your parents, and your employees. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. ESPN's streaming bet, but now it turns 1 year old. 1 year ago this week, ESPN did the thing it swore it would never do. It sold you the network straight to you, no cable required. Today that bet is 1 year old. So how did it do? How's it done in 1 year? Per ESPN and Sportico, the ESPN direct-to-consumer app launched in August 2025 and just hit its 1 year mark. The unlimited plan runs $29.99 a month, $299 a year. A select plan is $11.99 a month. Unlimited bundles, ESPN, linear networks, plus ABC's ESPN content, ESPN Plus, and touts 47 live events throughout the year. The tension eating all of media. ESPN spent 40 years being paid by everyone to be on like the cable package. Whether you watched or not, you paid for it and you had access to it. A roughly $9 cable tax on every bill. Even my grandma, who never watched ESPN, had ESPN. She didn't watch, she couldn't just carve out ESPN. Oh, I don't want to pay $9 for ESPN. It was included. It was the best for the longest time. That was the best model. You're included in something and you're going to get eyeballs or you're not, and you're still going to get the money no matter what. Going direct means giving up grandma's money, and now you got to convince somebody that the lineup that you have, that the television programming that you have is worth $30 a month in a world that feels like they're overspending for everything, that feels like they have way too many subscriptions, Everyone's got a different subscription for everything. And now you're competing with Netflix, HBO, YouTube, which is free for YouTube. I mean, they obviously have expenses, but the content that people put on YouTube doesn't pay them for that content. And then you're going to say, well, YouTube is going to pay people to not put on Netflix. Not what I'm talking about. And TikTok. Because it's on your phone. It's literally in front of you. But you're going to say, Jeremy, live sports is the only thing that matters. Okay. What live sports on ESPN are you going to turn into? Okay, they have Monday Night Football. And they have college football on Saturday. And they have some hockey. And like a Wednesday or Friday night NBA maybe. And they have like 2 MLB games a week. How many games? 10? 15? Let's just say, and I don't know for sure. I'm just speculating. 12 to 15 top tier professional games a week. Is that enough to buy the ESPN app when I can just A, not, and B, watch it on a highlight after? What's getting me to tune in? Unless I'm a diehard Columbus Blue Jackets fan. Sorry for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And they're playing on Wednesday night, but they're not the same team that's on TV every Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Hockey, if that's still a thing on ESPN, if even hockey's even on ESPN anymore. Or do you want to watch Stephen A. Smith just yell about things all day long and talk about things he doesn't fully know or understand? Is that the entertainment value that ESPN's giving you? The thing that they're trying to sell you is the thing that they've always sold you at a smaller scale. They've told us that they're going away from debate television. And as we've talked about here, debate television is incredibly important to why sports media is sports media. So without debate television, that might be locked behind ESPN, that I can watch on YouTube maybe 20 minutes later. What am I tuning in for? I'm tuning in for live sports. And is there live sports enough for me to pay $30 a month for? We used to have a relationship with them because it was always there. And I couldn't decide. And now I get to decide on whether or not I want to pay for that. And are they giving me enough that is worth paying for? Amazon Prime cost me X amount of dollars per month, and I get all Thursday night games, and I get other sports behind the scenes stuff, and I also get Amazon Prime. And ESPN is $30 a month, and I get all of these different live sports, but is that the live sports I want to tune into? Because it's just one NFL game a week, right? And maybe a couple playoff games. Do they have MLS content if you're an MLS fan? No. Do they have Premier League content? They have La Liga. And if you're like, gotta have me some La Liga, you're getting an ESPN subscription. But you can also find other ways to access La Liga using VPNs, etc., but I didn't tell you that. So the relationship that we have with sports is different. We get to choose where we want to spend our money now. And ESPN doesn't have the ability to make as much money as they did from like grandma just saying, yes, I'm going to get a TV subscription and that being included when you go over to watch grandma. When you go over to watch grandma. When you go over to grandma's house to watch a movie or whatever with her. Or watch her, literally. She could be like a spark plug. ESPN gave up the money from people who never watched to get money from people who do. They didn't have a choice. Not as many people are watching linear cable or whatever. DirecTV is, all of those like classic cable bundles are over. And now all of these gigantic organizations have to go direct to consumer. And all ESPN has to offer is a bunch of 30 for 30s, which you can watch a bunch of them on Netflix. And 15 top 4 major sport events, barely any highlights, tons of commercials. The product that they are offering isn't as good as it could be or should be or used to be. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I get to say that now because we've done this every day for like 3 weeks and it's been so much fun. Thank you for like all of the amazing support and feedback, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for being here. The new commissioner of Major League Soccer is LAFC's current owner, so the new boss has to sell his stake within 2 years. Larry Berg is going to be the next commissioner of Major League Soccer starting in January. His background isn't soccer. It's give it to me. Come on. Where's the ding? It's private equity. You're right. He's a big owner in LAFC, so the league is giving him 2 years to sell all of it. Rules don't matter anymore, right? Like, you can be the president of the United States and like benefit financially from like a bunch of different things. You don't have to divest anything. So like, who's policing Mr. Garber on selling a share of his company? Larry Berg, and PE veteran and LAFC lead investor, succeeds Don Garber as MLS commissioner on January 1st. MLS is giving him up to 2 years to divest his entire LAFC stake, possibly across multiple transactions. Listen to these numbers. LAFC recently sold 6% of the club at a $1.25 billion valuation, among the highest ever in MLS. A soccer league picked a finance guy to run it. Yep. We know it. Go back and we'll keep talking about this, trust me. And he has to unwind his ownership to take the job because you can't referee a game you're betting on. In theory. That's modern sports in a higher. The people running the leagues increasingly come from the same world, buying pieces of the teams. Arctos and the Falcons, institutions in every league, and college sports now, and a PE veteran with the commissioner's gavel. We say, generally, a piece is not total control, except when the guy with the pieces gets handed the entire league. Money and power in sports are consolidating in the allocator, the person who moves the capital. It's not eyeballs anymore. You know what I'm saying? It used to be, what guy can we have that runs the league that can give us the most eyeballs? Eyeballs used to lead to money. Now money's leading to money. Roger Goodell, exceptionalized job. The teams have grown. NFL's a more global game now and making more money than it ever has been, and the teams have been valued higher than they ever have been since Roger Goodell took over. Of course, that number is going to keep going up. Don Garber did enough to make MLS valuable enough to have billion-dollar franchises and $500 million expansion fees in the MLS. That's a very good thing for the owners and for the sport in general. Okay? But now they got a money guy who's going to do exactly what Roger Goodell did with the MLS that Roger Goodell did for the NFL. The league stopped hiring soccer people. They're starting to hire more money people. Money people. It's all about private equity. It's all about your dollars. It's all about the billion-dollar valuation. It's all about being a top 4 major sport. It's all about advertising. It's all about the things that we always talk about, and it's happening right in front of us. It's happening right in front of us. And it's on us to decide how we want to participate, how we want to have these conversations with the team, where we want this money to go. Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, Jeremy. Good morning. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great. We are live.
I
And
love that.
we love it. We love just popping right in, having these conversations with our guests. It's really nice to meet you. The website, Girls Basketball Worldwide, is incredible. I've been in this space before. I cannot wait to talk with you about it. But please,
Okay.
share a little bit about you, who you are, where you come from, and why Girls Basketball Worldwide.
Absolutely. And first of all, happy to be here. Super excited to have this conversation. A little bit about me. I am born and raised in Orlando, Florida, and been playing basketball sports my whole life. Attended the University of Florida, and then ended up getting drafted to the Indiana Fever in 2013. Was after I got cut from there, I did my overseas journey, which was Jamaica basketball, Spain, Puerto Rico, got the international flair. And then once I air quotes retired, I went into strength and conditioning for the last 10 years. And in between that, I built out Girls Basketball Worldwide Foundation in 2020. When the world shut down, it was a good time to get to thinking and get creative. And I saw a need just with my time in Jamaica for the national team. And then I had some time at Mount Verde Academy, which is a boarding school in Florida. Just seeing some opportunities for more women in the space to put girls in sports first and invest in women and invest in girls. And so our target market is middle school. So that's where we really focus on and do events and programming for them. And then, of course, they get older. So we have some things for high school as well, and then touch a little bit on college. But our focus is middle school and making sure that we're mentoring, providing life skills, and then using sport as a vehicle.
It's amazing. I've been in the baseball space doing this before. I know we just met, so I get to introduce myself as well. I used to play professional baseball at the New York Mets, qualified for the Olympics. And when I got done playing professional baseball, I got injured, got released, and I realized at the time minor league baseball players didn't have housing, food, or equipment paid for by the teams. There was no union. And so me as an athlete being in these locker rooms, having these conversations, realized there was need. And what we did was we built the Minor League Baseball Players Association, which is the largest union now in professional sports. You saw the same thing. You were in locker rooms. You have been this girl that you are building this organization for. How have you taken your career and what you learned throughout your career, or what you learned as an athlete, to apply that to the success that you're having with your organization?
Well, I think, as you know, being an athlete, we get put in certain situations and we have to grow. We have to be able to work with others and we have to grind. And that's exactly what I do on a daily basis with the foundation, with the organization, and growing it and building it. We actually have an event tomorrow in Tampa. We're building out a 3-on-3 circuit in a series.
Cool.
We start in Orlando. We have Tampa this year. We have a couple other cities that we're going to release next year. So when you talk about how this has grown, it's like you said, what I've been through in sports, what I've been through as an athlete, the locker rooms that I've been in, for overseas, having to negotiate my own contracts. You know, when you're over there, you're working with your agent. So all those things have accumulated for me to be able to run this organization and focus on doing the right things for girls in sports.
Where have you seen the biggest pushback in you building this, right? Everyone says education for young people is great, and using sport for education or opportunities or to keep them in school or to do all these things is an amazing thing. When I was running Northern Baseball, I would say, I want to help players from out of the country stay in the country to be able to make more money in the off season than they did during the season, or helping guys make more money because that will be a better asset for Major League Baseball teams. And people would say, well, boo-hoo, they're professional athletes and they should just suck it up. Where has the pushback you have seen come from, and how do you handle that pushback?
I think the pushback is there's just so many people in the space in youth sports across all sports, right? Nowadays, like the youth sports game is a crazy one. And so the pushback is other people in the space that might not be in it for the right reasons, or the pushback is, well, I can be going to this event XYZ. And it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, when you're having your young girl around people that have done what they, achieved what they're trying to achieve at the highest level and want to pour back into it, that experience you can't take away. So I think having to combat the overuse that's going on right now in youth sports is one of the biggest things.
So Jennifer George is from Florida, and she plays in Florida, and she gets to the WNBA, and that's amazing in itself. Like, congratulations on like having a great career. At what point in your career, either college or when you were playing professionally or overseas, where did you say, I know I'm done soon, if that even happened to you? Or were you like, I gotta jump into this? Like, what was that experience like for you as you were transitioning into doing this or leaving sport full time?
Well, I'm actually a planner. So I am in college, and I wasn't going to play. I don't even know, most people don't know that. I wasn't going to play past college.
Mhm.
And my coach sat me down at the end of the season and said, Jennifer, the window for you to play is small. like age is going to get you at some point. So as long as you're young and people want you to play, you might as well just do it. And I didn't have an exact plan of what I wanted to do after college. So I was like, I can take this time, play, but I want to figure out what I want to do. So me playing the extent that I did, I was consistently coming back when I was overseas. I'd come back to the States. I would shadow people. I would be, find mentors. I would try to figure out what's next. So as I was playing, I was already focused on what am I going to do after sport because I knew it was coming. So that was my transition for me, and I found strength and conditioning. I was doing it in between. I was training other pro athletes at a local gym, and I was like, because I had 4 different strength coaches when I was at Florida, so I had 4 different types of philosophies that I was able to acquire, and so I was like, man, this is easy for me to come up with workouts. I guess people do get paid for this. Let me see what I could do and try to get my certification. I did that over while I was overseas. I studied and I passed my exam, all while I was playing.
That's amazing. How have you seen women's basketball change since you were in high school? How has it changed getting into college? Is what's happening in the WNBA right now really good for women's sports and for the WNBA as a whole? Like, how have you seen your experience with it and like it change over time?
Well, Jeremy, back in my day, uh, in high school, yeah, like there wasn't social media. I think we had MySpace. So this, like, when you're in your region or in your city or XYZ, your state, you're competing against those girls. Obviously, you play travel ball, play people from different states, and that's when you're like, oh, there's a whole different world out there. Nowadays, you just have to go online. And then people are doing so many different showcases. People from Florida are traveling to California to do an evaluator. Like the game has completely changed when it comes to exposure and how to get recruited. For me, I mean, I think I averaged like 13 points and I got to University of Florida. I don't think that would happen now. Like if I'm averaging 13 in high school, like, I might end up in a mid-major. So I think nowadays girls have to stand out differently. And because of the transfer portal, you're competing not only against the best person in your state, the best person in I'm in Florida, so South, like anywhere in the South, but now competing against someone that's been in college or someone that played in junior college, someone that has transferred from a mid-major. Like you're competing against so many more people for one scholarship. And I think that's where it changes a lot from when we were coming up, where it was like, oh, I'm just competing against the next person in Florida. Like, where are we going?
In building girls basketball worldwide, we were just on your website. I was scrolling through, and you have a lot of board members and a lot of people in your corner supporting you. How have you been able to use your network or have the conversations with folks and get them to say, this is something I want to put my name on. This is something I want to spend my time doing?
I've been very blessed with the ability to connect with people, the ability to, talk, strike up conversations, and have like-minded individuals in my ether, right? So between my time at University of Florida, I worked some time at Orange Theory Fitness in Winter Park, Florida. I've been able to be in spaces where people have the heart to want to give back and want to support, right? I think I was listening to a podcast. It's like Serena Williams was speaking to, maybe it was Mark Cuban, and they were talking about investing. And she was like, yeah, I get pitched all the time, but I'm not solely investing in your idea. I'm investing in the person. So if I believe in you as a person, then I'll believe in the product that you're selling or whatever that is. So I attribute that to myself. I think a lot of times, yes, the mission of Girls Basketball Worldwide Foundation is strong, but there's a whole lot of other nonprofits out there that have great missions as well. I've just been able to find people that invest in me and believe in what I do as a person and how I handle business, basically.
On your website also, you have sponsors. And that's amazing because that's how we keep the lights on at nonprofits. We keep it on with sponsors and programming and donors. And we love all of them. Thank you for donating to Girls Basketball Worldwide, all of our fans out there and who we're going to see in the newsletter. We will post everything today. Having conversations with sponsors. What has been the most like rewarding partnership that you've had, and how did you get that initial introduction to that organization that sponsored you?
It's all relationship based,
Yeah.
right? So I would have to shout out Corbin Construction. They've been with us since day one. And I met the owners by when I trained them back in 2016. And I trained the mom, then I trained the daughter, and it was just that relationship base. And they have been with us throughout the 6 years entirety in their construction company. But they had a daughter who was in sports, so they believe in what we're building between the scholarships and the programming that we have. So relationship was how it started, and realistically most of the relationships that we have, or the sponsors that we have, stem from a relationship base. Even Orlando Magic, I believe there was a event in New York, and myself and my mother, who's my project manager, and a board member went up there. They met the community outreach lead for Orlando Magic in New York, and now we're partnered with them. And so that kind of stuff is like we had to travel all the way to New York to get a partnership with the
Yeah.
Orlando Magic, but it worked. And so now they're one of our partners as well.
How was working with your mother been?
Great. I mean, you're looking at me, you're talking to me because of her, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
she is someone that I've looked up to, and I get my passion, my grind. I'm half Jamaican because of her. Like, I've seen her do so much, and that's part of the reason why I push so hard to be successful, because as I had immigrant parents, like they sacrifice so much and they push hard. It's not as easy back in the days that when they were coming up in the States. And um, I want to be successful because of what they did for me.
And you have been successful. You've done the things in basketball, and basketball has led to these amazing things that you are doing now. You and me have a very similar path. And so, if our audience or if the things that we are doing can be helpful for you, let's absolutely like continue this conversation or bring you back on to have updates over time. Maybe do a basketball type event as we start to continue to do our things. This show, in large part, is about athletes going from playing in college or playing professionally to transitioning out of playing, like we've discussed. And it's about setting yourself up for success while you have that very small window to make these connections and networks. What is something you wish you told college Jennifer, or even first year couple professional year Jennifer, on what you've learned now? You're always a planner. You were planning for this, but what would you go back and tell them about what you've learned?
I would tell college Jennifer to continue being the person I was, because in college, right? So I still do radio broadcasting at University of Florida.
No way.
But that's solely due to the fact that I was nice to administrators, athletic department. Like I shook hands, I said hi to everyone, and I treated everyone like they were people and not just like, oh, you're doing stuff for me because I'm an athlete. And so I think relationship and just being a kind and nice human being has gotten me to where I am now. So I would tell college Jennifer, continue being a nice person. Make sure that you shake hands, look people in the eye when you speak to them, be respectful, and then you'll continue to do the right things and get places.
Amazing. Where can our people find you online? Where can they support your work?
With the foundation on Instagram, it's girls period basketball period worldwide. And then we have my personal one is Jennifer George 3. You can always support us on our website, girlsbasketballwf.org. We have some really cool events coming up that I'm super excited about. We're building a great foundation to support the ecosystem of girls in sports.
Amazing. If you're ever doing anything in Arizona, please let me know. And
Oh,
yeah, please let me know. And we will stay in touch. We'll send all of this out in our newsletter today. This will not be the last time that we have you on the show. Okay.
I receive it, and I can't wait for the next time.
Thank you, Jennifer. We really appreciate it.
All righty, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Open athletes exist to have these conversations. Wow. She's amazing. That was fun. SEC legend building girls hoops through media, through education, through an amazing channel, an amazing outlet. Like, the goal of Open Athletes is to have these. Number one, it's really fun for me to have these conversations and get to meet people. Number two is now you get to know who Jennifer George is, why she's doing it, where she came from, her story, and support her organization. That's the win-win. That's the win-win-win-win-win-win of creating an avenue to have these conversations and to support others. Because we want Jennifer George to be successful, because if she's successful, then the girls and the people and the communities that she is working with is going to be successful too. That's the benefit that we have. The show's presented by, her show doesn't sponsor, but Girls Basketball Worldwide. Go support. Absolutely. Of course. Today's take, a piece is not control. A piece is not control. It's Friday, so I get to pick through what we did this week. Today, the whole show is quietly about one thing. Everybody is buying a piece of sports right now. And most athletes read that word completely wrong. The receipts, Arctos buying up to 10% of the Atlanta Falcons. Bob Iger and Joshua Kushner moving in to buy the Lakers. LSU, Utah, Michigan State being gobbled up by private equity. PE's moving into everything. Huddle Up named it the financialization of pro sports. The incoming MLS commissioner is a PE guy who has to sell his own team. The U.S. Open put a record $108 million on the table, and the players still had to organize a protest to move that number. Or are still trying to move that number. Because they're not unionized. And they don't have a collective bargaining agreement. And there's like a ton of different organizations and blah, 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 right? 4 stories, 1 pattern. Money is flooding into sports. Still, always has been, always will be. And it is very picky about what it buys. Kinda. It's kind of gobbling up everything. The lesson, watch the structure of the smart money deals. Arctos didn't buy the Falcons. They bought 10%. It was capped. They couldn't control anymore. They couldn't buy anymore. They have 18 months to pay up. They want the thing that goes up and none of the responsibility of doing so. They bought the option on appreciation and left the obligation on the table. They bought the upside and skipping the entire downside. Someone else's burden to run this team. The teams will continue to go up. Trust the football people in place to do that. Or trust Arthur Blank and however he's running the team. They will increase in value over time with the new stadium, and they're in Atlanta, and they're never going to leave, and they're going to be worth $10 billion now, and they're going to be worth $15 billion in 5 years. A piece is not control. Here's the payoff. For the smart money, that's the entire point. They don't want control. Control is expensive. Control is risky. They want number go up while somebody else does the work. So flip it to you, athlete. For years, sport people like me have said, own your distribution, build your audience, take a piece. It's still true. But as we've seen with these organizations, there's an upgrade now. A piece and a payment is not enough. To get equity, to get a seat at the table, that's what's becoming more relevant now than ever. Read the structure of what's in front of you, economics or control, a piece of the upside or say in the room. The smart money picks with purpose. 2 numbers again. The U.S. Open headline is a $108 million purse. The truth is, for a first-round player, it's $140,000 before you pay your coach, you pay your flights, you pay your hotel, you whatever, because you're an independent contractor without collectively bargaining against the tours or whatever, the tournaments on their purses. You hear me? You feel me? The Falcons headline is $10.5 billion, and the truth is a private equity firm only wanted 10%. Well, could only get 10%. They understood the structure. They put their money where their mouths are. What you have, what Jennifer has, is the willingness to get in the room and change the conversation. Instead of asking nonprofits or working for a nonprofit, she built her own. She's not doing it for the money. Trust me, the money is not there in nonprofits. I hope her nonprofit is doing exceptionally well and that this is her full-time job. I hope, I pray. I hope that she's doing that. I with enough programming, you can. But people who build nonprofits are not doing it for the money. They're doing it to change something or to make an impact. And she is able to do that. But what she is doing is she is able to get in the room. Partnerships with the Orlando Magic is a big deal. Regardless of if you used to play in the WNBA or professionally or not. Starting an organization and having that on your website and being able to say that you partner with the Orlando Magic and doing activations with the Orlando Magic, that's a big deal. She's doing the right thing. She's saying the right thing. She's in the room. She's having real conversations, solving the problem that she wants to solve for in the way that she wants to solve it. I've done that before. Raised $2.5 million, gave 98% of it back to minor league baseball players, and I got to meet a minor leaguer that we helped this week, just in passing, and he's like, "Oh, I still have the shirt," and that just like is worth it. That was worth 5 years of trouble, not making a lot of money doing it. And yes, players have a union now, and I'm very, very proud of that. That's on my resume. For me personally, and I get to share it with you, my experience. But for him to say that he still wears it, and then his dad goes, "Oh, I still wear the shirt too," that's amazing. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel like the time I spent doing things is worth it. The building lesson, the wild card. Friday special. Stop being impressed by the headline number. Start looking deeper into what it entails. We couldn't get the Coco Gauff number that she's given by Aura for her endorsement deal. That stuff is usually not public, but we also don't know is what the details are of the relationship. How many times is she going to post? Where's she going to post? Is she going to be wearing it during competition? Does Declan Rice wear it during competition? What is this going to look like for her long term? And what does it look like for Aura long term? How much is she getting paid? Is she going to push enough revenue to make it worth it? Probably yes. Endorsements at that level usually work out the way that they need to work out. But there's always a chance it doesn't. In these teams and organizations, if you're building in sports and you want a professional athlete or you're trying to do NIL, are you going to get it back? You're going to get it back if that person that you're buying has an audience, and you're only going to buy them if they have an audience. And you're going to get it because you're getting access into their rooms. People get to partner with Coco Gauff. You know who benefits? Nike. Coco Gauff's got to wear Nike on all of the advertisements she does for Aura. Whoop is something that you could see on someone's wrist and say, that person's wearing Whoop. But if they're wearing a ring, this is the same size and shape as the new Aura rings. You don't know if it's an Aura or not. It's not. I would not be wearing a Whoop and an Aura ring. Okay. But you know, that's why sponsoring an athlete on their for these sports on their body, it gets you everywhere because they're going to do other deals. They're going to do a Gatorade deal. They're going to be wearing Nike. Roy's going to be doing a Powerade deal, and he's going to be wearing a Whoop. People are going to know that's a Whoop. Because they've seen it before. And they're like, what's that on his wrist without a screen? These players are getting rich on their expertise. On their positioning. On their value in the marketplace. Coco Gauff is cool. So if she's buying Aura Ring, are they moving more into sports, or are they more into the thing that they are doing to separate themselves from Whoop? And how much would Whoop have given Coco Gauff, or did Whoop not want to give Coco Gauff anything? And Aura was the one that she wanted to go with because she cares more about recovery than strain or whatever the data is that tells her the Whoop or whatever. What control is she getting over how they're using her name, image, and likeness? How much money is she getting? Is it worth the trouble that they now get to build these advertisements or programs around her? I will watch the tournaments this year that she's in to see what commercials Aura has or what activations they do during the tournaments. If in person, if there's a Coco Gauff Aura Ring booth or whatever it might be. I think that's an incredibly interesting component to how you can activate a brand at these events that these players are at. And if she's wearing it during a game too. Now, she could wear it on this finger, on this finger. Does it affect her? Does it affect her on the field at all? In golf, if you're wearing a Whoop, sometimes on the PGA Tour, they'll show the heartbeat on screen. Like once. They should do it every time. I should see it every single time because I want to see that he's lining up for a putt And he looks calm, but his heart beats 120 beats per minute. Steer more into the data that people can get access to just by wearing this. What can you do as Coco Gauff to totally maximize the amount of eyeballs that you give Aura Ring? Or that Aura Ring gives you also, now that you're in their network? Who knows? Future sponsor of the show, Aura Ring. Who knows? Whoop's not paying me to wear it. Not yet. That's the thing. Create an audience, and maybe there's an opportunity to do that down the line. Thank you, Jennifer George, for being here today. Happy Friday. This is our best show yet. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.